Welcome to the Urban Schoolhouse.
Where school is cool. And then today I am here with my mom, Ebony Weissinger, and then I am Chelsea Weissinger, and this is the second part of our second series, which is about Bullying Prevention Month in the month of October. So, where we left off last episode, we were talking about bullying and how do kids become bullies? What are they absorbing that makes them feel like bullying is okay? Things of that nature. And so, where we left off at was usually when kids sort of have behaviors at school, um, their parents will kind of co-sign on it, or they know that they have permission from their parents to fight or to act out, and that really like empowers them to do it. And in my experience so far, the infamous saying, if somebody hits you, hit them back. Yeah. Which
I mean, we're not out here saying that your kids should get beat up at school.
No.
But that's not always the deal. And we can provide some qualification for what we're saying because, a couple of things really do matter. You're advising your child to hit another person's child and you're nowhere around, and neither is that other parent. So that's just not good advice. Because
for many reasons.
It's for many reasons. And I know why some parents say that, and it's because they don't want their kids hit. Mm-hmm. They don't want, and I know that's their intention behind what they're saying, but they're not thinking about the big picture.
No.
They're not thinking about...
But we're going to break that down.
Okay, we're going to break it
down. Yeah. The first thing in saying if someone hits you, hit them back. First of all, that's a very broad statement when the situation is niche and the situation requires discernment that children just don't possess.
Right.
So first of all, you just say if someone hits you, well, what's a hit?
Right.
Because somebody could just bump into them on accident on the playground, and then your child overreacts. Like, is it a kick? Is it a like? What's a hit? First of all, was it intentional? And if your kid hits them back, is their hit on the same level as the other kids? Like, if somebody just bumps into your kid on accident and they push them, or it's like, it's not on the same level. So then really your kid ends up being in trouble more than the other kid, because your child actually escalated the situation more than what it had to be.
Right.
And kids don't understand
discretion.
They don't understand, you give them such a broad statement that they don't know how to pull apart, and they don't have the critical thinking skills or the context clues to make an accurate decision when it comes to that.
Right.
So I think that's the first thing. And I've experienced that. I worked at a summer camp, and I had 2 second grade boys hit each other over a rock, because this kid wanted to play with a rock, the other kid wanted it. I think one kid got pushed, so then he pushed him back over a rock. And when they were both in my office and we were having a conversation, I said, why are we hitting each other? And both of them said that men in their life have told them, if someone hits me, I need to hit them back. And my thing is, those boys were probably about 6 or 7. So when does that stop? That's my biggest thing. They're 6 and 7 now.
Right.
But when they're 16, 17, 18, 19, where if you put your hands on someone, that is a crime.
Right.
when does that notion stop? Because you've been telling them to do this their whole life.
Right.
It's not gonna stop once they turn into adults.
Right. It's gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse. And
This mama said knock you out.
in the criminal system loves to lock up black children, black boys.
They love to shoot them.
They love to shoot them. Lock them up, shoot them, whatever. And you're giving them more reason to do so by teaching your black children to put their hands on other people.
Yeah.
And that's what I was telling these kids. I said, because I call myself Miss W. My last name is long. So I was like, I gave them an example. If Miss W goes out on the street right now and I hit someone, is that okay? They're like, no. I was like, why not? Y'all just did it. What's the problem if I do it?
I asked them if I could hit them, and they're like, huh?
It's like, because as you grow up and you're an adult, I can't, if I don't like someone, particularly at my job or wherever I'm at the grocery store, this lady coming up in line, I can't just punch her. I know,
but what if she hit you?
I'm calling the police.
Me too.
I'm pressing charges.
Yeah.
I think also, that's what I said, when you're an adult and you have things to lose,
right,
you don't make decisions like that. Like my mom and I, we're in fields that have a code of ethics. We're in fields where we have to have a license, and doing those types of things can make us lose our career. So when you have stuff to lose, you're not making rash, impulsive, dangerous decisions like this. That's another thing.
Kids have something to lose too, because depending on the age of the child, they could really fail, like flunk school.
Yeah.
If they're out of school so much because they're suspended for fighting. And I've seen that happen.
They don't look at it like that. They don't.
You don't look at it like that until it's time to graduate. And again, it depends on what level you are. If you're in high school and you're a fighter, and they do have high school fighters, that really can affect your credit situation in a bad way. I've seen that happen too. I talked to one time about the school that implemented the 30-day automatic 30-day suspension if you fight. But they did that as a response to black kids moving into that school and fighting. It used to be a small window, and now it became a big window. So basically, because black kids were coming into that school fighting at such alarming rates, they decided to go ahead and up the days to 30 days. And basically, kids were just failing school. And even if you don't look at it like that, you're missing school is a problem because you're not learning anything however long you're out. And if that's cool with the parent so that they can get their lick back, then okay, then that's what we see.
Yeah, that's my biggest question. When people say that they teach their kid that, I'm like, well, when does it stop? Because you've taught them that it's okay for so many years. So when you teach them that it's not okay, if you do, they're just going to be confused because they're going to say, well, you told me to do this, I told me to do this. They're not going to understand. And also, my other biggest thing about going to fighting automatically is that you never know what the other person is capable of. You know what you're capable of, but you have no clue what that person can do. You don't know if they got backup. You don't know what they have on them. They can have a weapon in their pocket. You don't even know.
They could know karate.
Yeah.
You don't know.
You don't know. You could be bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Right.
You don't know. And I know a child who is in juvie right now because he started a fight, ended up really hurting someone. So now he's in over basketball.
And that's what I was going to introduce, the point of kids that have all types of illnesses and things of this nature at the school that people don't know about. They have kids with pacemakers. They have kids who have seizures. They have kids who have asthma super bad. They have kids who have artificial like limbs. So while you so fast and quick to tell your child to hit another child, you don't even know if that child has an issue by where
their health conditions.
A condition where if your child hit them, that it could completely harm them. And it's not just, oh, hit them because they hit you back. Things go way deeper than that. If you really want your children to have a quality life, you teach them to keep their hands to themselves because no one wants to be hit. And that's the bottom line. Teaching your kid to hit, if somebody hits you, that will come back to bite you and your kid, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
And I've been hit by a student. Let's go there. Not hit, but I've been pushed. And I know that only Chelsea's short time has been bitten by a child. And what if the school personnel had that same attitude and hit your child back? We don't do that. Yeah, we could lose our job. Some people will lose their job and hit your child. I don't know. I won't, but some people have. But nobody should be putting their hands on another person. If people could just keep their hands to themselves, and if they have conflicts, to keep it at a verbal level, that would be better. I'm a counselor and I like to help people talk things through.
Right. It could really be avoided. Also teaching your kid to just let stuff go. Like if someone bumps me and it's an accident, if they say sorry, even if they don't say sorry, I'm just like, okay, well that was rude, and I just move on with my life. You know what I mean?
Because you're not hurt.
Right.
And that's always the thing that I
like. Why are
kids.
we? And I tell kids, is it an elephant size problem or is it a mouse size problem?
But
usually it's a mouse.
They don't care
but teach
when
your
they
kid
have that empowerment that mama said to hit you back. That means I don't have to worry about if it's a mouse size problem or not. I just got
well, your mom can want you at home, not suspended.
And that's the issue. Your mom is not at school with you. Your mom is not going to control the fight that could break out in the school. Your mom is not going to be able to help another person's child get treatment if they need it. And quite frankly, it could become a police issue. I'm going to be honest. As a parent, if my child has a physical altercation at school and they come home and they're in such a, certain states, I would file a police report. As the parent, you're the one who is responsible for the actions of your kids, especially when you're the one saying, hit them back. So I just think we need to.
I think it goes back to the cyberbullying conversation that we had last episode, where we were talking about how if you post on the internet, you can't control who that reaches. Well, if you hit someone, you have no control over what they're about to do next. Right. You don't know what can of worms that you just open.
Yeah.
So it's hardly ever worth it, and you need to teach your child how to stand up for themselves.
That's right.
In the correct way. Yeah, in the correct way. Like clearly no child should be hit, but instead of hitting them back, actually like resolve it how you would want their adult self to resolve it, because these kids grow up to be adults.
And we're practicing how to be adults as children. And it's funny because, nobody wants to say we want to put adulthood on a child. We don't, but it's our job. We only have
but you're you know what though? I feel like a lot of people, is kind of off topic, but kind of on topic. People have kids because they want babies. I don't think people realize they're going to be adults.
Yeah.
You're raising an adult.
Right.
And you want your child to be a respectful,
adult,
productive member of society.
Right.
They're not going to be 5 forever. Little Day going to grow up.
Right. And little Day going to remember my mama said, hit them all.
And little Day going to jail. So
Day going to go to jail. Yep.
Free Day. Or
free
not.
Day. No,
I don't
definitely
know.
Not free.
Or not. He can stay.
I always tell the children this. People who can't control themselves, they are the people who wind up going to jail in our society. Hitting people is something that we could all do, but it's very low vibrational.
It's harder. It takes more self-control. I think it's more impressive to walk away.
Me too, but we don't glorify walking away.
We don't.
We don't glorify turning the other cheek.
Because it's been multiple times.
We glorify keeping our hands to ourselves.
There's been multiple
we glorify,
times.
I'm going to put my hands on you. That's what we say to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's been multiple times. I would have loved to not have walked away, to be honest.
Yeah.
but you have to. And I tell kids, well, first of all, one, you you have something to lose. And then I also say, why don't you think that you're better than fighting? Why do you think fighting is the only way that you can go about the situation? If you're not above fighting, what are you above?
Well, guess what? When you have a mom who's not above fighting and a sister older or a brother that's older or a dad that's older that's not above it, then no, you're not
They're
going to be
not.
above it.
They're
How
not.
can you be above it? If you're above something as a child, that's because you have someone in your life that is also above it.
As someone in their mid 20s, um, everybody I know personally who grew up with that mentality are they're not aggressive. I don't want to call them aggressive, but they're very irritable, and like you can tell that they want to hit someone or like
Even if they don't.
right, but like they know that they can't, but they still want to.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like
I know an adult like that. We have a family member like that.
it's very put offish because it's like we're literally too old for this. Yeah, I think also it goes back to what you're saying about emotional regulation as well. Like, I find myself this year more than last year. I'm just consistently working on coping skills for like so many different kids. Like, no, a lot of children do not know what to do when they get dysregulated. Um, when they're overwhelmed
Right.
and feeling a lot like they genuinely like don't know how to handle emotions. They don't know what to do. And I feel like since the beginning of this school year, I've been constantly talking about just coping skills,
Have they been
positive
crashing
coping,
out? I mean,
everything. Like just when they're told no, peer conflict,
okay, let's stop right there because I
literally,
really want you
literally
guys to
everything.
start saying no more to the kids because that helps them learn uh, perseverance. It helps them to learn patience. It helps them to also be more resilient. Don't always tell your child yes because at school it won't always be a yes and they have to learn how to regulate the emotion associated with a no. So if you tell your child no, then you can help them regulate the emotion at home by saying, okay, when you've been told no, how do you feel and what can you do with that feeling
And also let them self reflect. Like, do you know why I told you no?
mm-hmm.
And let them answer. Like, have a conversation with them and let them learn how to process what they're feeling in a healthy way. Give them that space.
Instead of being a parent who sees the crash out and caves and gives the kid what they want.
Yeah, because I see that at work every single day where I see at work every day um, kids who are never told no and they have meltdowns and they kind of like it's like they'll have a meltdown and they kind of like wait for you to give in. They're like, ah, and then they'll wait and just look at you like, okay, are you gonna give in now? And so you can kind of tell that that's what's done at home. Like you can tell when a kid runs the show at
That's
home.
right. And you know what? In middle school and in high school, it looks a little different. It looks more like a child asking me something over and over and over again until they try to wear you down and you give in. And they're always shocked at my responses because I'm not the one. I don't get worn down by a child. I'll simply explain to them what they're doing is disrespecting me. You know what I'm saying? If I've said to you, no, or you may not, or something to that effect, if they continue to ask and continue to ask, I let them know that I view that as disrespect.
Yeah, I feel like I never did that as a kid.
Because I didn't allow it. And I didn't allow it because my grandmother did not allow me to do that. She got very upset with me if I asked her multiple times anything. The thing is, she answered me once, and that should satisfy me. And so I never really allowed that from you or any other kid, really.
I knew if I asked you more than once, it would definitely be no. So
Definitely. In fact, I think that if the child is not allowed to do certain things at home, then they won't do them at school. What you think?
yeah, I saw a TikTok that said people don't turn the car around anymore. Like, if you're in the car going to do something and like the kids being super bad, they're having behaviors, whatever you want to call it, and you're in the car going to like Sky Zone, I don't know, but they're acting up. You're still going to Sky Zone though.
Right.
Parents must be like, okay, we going home now. We're no Sky Zone because I don't like how you're acting.
Right.
They don't do that no more. It's
What
like,
about cell phones too? Like, honestly, sometimes the parents will try to take the cell phones from the kid, but it doesn't seem like they can get it.
no, that's crazy. I haven't heard that one. Do you want to elaborate? Has it happened?
Yeah. I had a fifth grader in the city who I asked his mother if she could take his phone, like if he acts out and things like this. And she told me no. And so my question was literally, okay, so does he run your house? And she said, yes.
What?
Yes, she
Oh my
told
god.
she did. And then she proceeded to explain to me that it's been times where she would take his phone or try to discipline him and he
Mm-hmm.
would literally like destroy her home. Knock things over, put holes in the walls.
Over a phone?
Yes.
Sorry, mom, but that's your fault. That starts early.
So when
She
she
could have
told me
snipped that
that
in the
he
bud.
runs the house, clock it. What else do I have to say here? I don't know what else to tell you. I got to go. I don't know. That's really where my experience stops because I don't know anything about children running the home. I don't know nothing
Literally,
about. I got no experience.
if I was the mom, I would literally take everything out of his room,
Everything, even the door.
put it in storage.
The door would
You
come
get
off
a
the
bed.
hinges.
You get a bed, and that's it.
I've had that happen too. One of my girlfriends went in her daughter's room and she took everything out.
I saw that on TikTok. It was because the mom kept telling them to clean their room and they wouldn't do it. So she's like, okay, I'll just take everything out then and
So
give
I
it.
mean, I just feel like you need to be ready to go the extra mile if necessary to make sure your kids have the skills that they need to make it through this life. And you and people should not look at it like it's a temporary thing. Like Chelsea said, it's not about how you conduct yourself at school. It's about how you're going to conduct yourself
in
in
society.
society and work and in your neighborhood and in your community.
Because also what I noticed is that these people who tend to like have these violent like undertones or aggression, like I also have a serving job. Those people never last. I've witnessed like 3 fights at work.
Wow.
Even with the managers, it's like they can't keep a job. They're getting fired, rehired, whatever you want to call it. Like they never have a stable job, and so I feel like it creates so much instability in their life, and I feel like it just contributes to just the cycle as a whole of children that grow up in the city or in the inner city. They get taught these, especially in Black households where violence is glorified. I mean, violence is everywhere in Black culture. It's in movies, it's in TV shows, it's in music, it's in how we talk to each other.
Right. We talk to each other.
The social
violently.
norms, the social norms are violent.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything in the Black community. I mean, and again, it's not all our fault because our history is violent. Our trauma is violent.
Right. But we have to teach our kids against it.
Yeah, but we have to do better. Like I recognize where it comes. I think it's one of those cases where two things can be true at once. Where we have to recognize where it comes from, and it's at the root of our oppression in this country. But we can also recognize that it needs to be a switch.
Yeah, real big switch.
I remember like going back last episode, we were talking about me growing up sheltered, And like to be honest, like a lot of black classic movies are violent. Like I remember I just saw Boys in the Hood for the first time about 3 years ago. So I was about 21. And I didn't enjoy it because I don't like violent stuff. It's like stuff like that. Like, why is like a black kid watching that? Why is that type of movie
A
a
part of
rite
their
of passage?
schema.
Yeah.
Like when we put things into our heads, those things are schemas that make up how we view the world.
Yeah.
So we limited your violence intake, and not only that, things like horror films, we don't enjoy those type of things. Like for me, I don't enjoy horror films. We mentioned Freddy Krueger in the last episode too. I don't put it in my head because you can't unsee it.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff like Rick like that sticks with
Not
you.
Rickette.
Rick like that
It
sticks with
does
you.
stick with you because I can remember how distraught
Yeah.
she was
Mhm.
saying that and how they brought him back to the house.
Yeah.
All of that stuff, kids go through stuff like that at home and then they come back to school the next day.
Mhm.
It's just, and not just like murder, but sometimes it's a fight.
Mhm.
A parent fought a parent, or even another sibling got jumped on by their sibling or whatever. They are too involved in it. And I also had a student who lived with his uncle, and his uncle used to beat him up. His uncle was grown and used to beat him up, trying to make him tough.
We talked about that last time. What is our obsession with making black kids tough?
Ford tough.
Genuinely, it literally goes back to slavery. It literally
Yeah.
goes back to slavery. Did you know um white country clubs used to have boxing rings with black
People.
children?
And they would watch it for sport.
Watch it for sport. They would bet on it. They would have like babies be alligator bait.
Wow.
Even they would make slaves fight each other. They would make slaves have sex with each other. Like it is so much that we're really still practicing today, but it's like we don't realize it. Um, so yeah, because people wanted like the best slaves, the toughest slaves. You know what I
The
mean? The
strongest.
strongest.
The ones they could work the hardest.
Right, and that's literally where that comes from.
Yeah.
And we don't even realize it.
We don't realize it, and we perpetuate it and don't realize it. And we teach it to our kids and don't realize it. It's so much more rich to teach your kids not to fight. Because everybody out here fighting. Be original.
Not be original. And my thing is, again, you're raising black children who are already going to have a tough time.
Yeah.
For reasons that they can't control.
Correct.
You can control your kid's temperament for the most part. You can kind of model how it's supposed to be
done. Yes.
So why are you not doing that? And then when they start getting arrested, when they start going to juvie, when they do whatever, you want to act shocked.
Oh, no. They act big shock. Big shock.
No.
I don't understand. It's like, ma'am, how can you not understand? The writing is on the wall. This child been fighting the whole time. And then let me tell y'all something else about fighting in school. It creates a record.
Yes, that follows
you from grade K to grade 12. It's in a file called a CA60 file. In some schools or some districts, I've heard that they call it an 80, but I call it a CA60 because that's what it's really called. And it basically starts off in kindergarten and it follows the student from school to school.
And no matter where they go.
No matter where they go, and everything they do, good and bad, is in it. So every time a child is fighting, it's in the file. And how does that matter? It matters because come 12th grade, 11th grade, your student is going to start wanting to apply for scholarships and get letters of recommendation from people in their school. And where do we go to find information out, Joe?
In the file.
In the file.
Also, it's like, why? Because I didn't experience this, but my boyfriend had experience last year where a kid who never talked to him, had no relationship with him, wasn't the best student in his class, but needed a letter of recommendation. And so my boyfriend was like, well, you haven't really done that much to make me want to write a good, review about you.
Right.
So also it's like you have to be mindful of who you're like like you have to be mindful that you might need a recommendation one day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you acting a fool for 4 years straight, I mean, teachers can say no. Like
Yeah.
they don't have to.
I would rather say no because
Then
you don't
yeah,
want a recommendation from me,
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
I would rather just say no. And I always tell kids when you ask for a letter of recommendation, you need to say, can you write a good letter of recommendation, not just a letter, right? So another thing is that it could cost you opportunities, okay? Majorly. It could cost you opportunities to take certain classes, to be a part of certain leadership clubs. And sometimes the things that you did in the past, they have the darndest way of creeping back up. I also remember as a high school counselor, an actual FBI agent coming in my office to talk. Yes,
You never told me this story.
I probably never did. It only happened one time. A FBI agent came to visit me and the principal and the assistant principal about a former student who was applying to be an agent.
Oh wow.
Right. And let me tell you, he wanted to know about the attendance. He wanted to know about the citizenship, the academics.
Did you think you were in trouble?
No, because I knew he was
They
coming.
came from Quantico.
They came from Quantico. My principal knew he was coming, so he had already told me. So I wasn't, worried or shocked, but it just goes to show you never know how
far back.
reach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what people will say about you.
Yeah.
Like even if we don't have these
Did
fights
you give
in
that
the
kid?
file,
Did you give that kid a good review?
I believe so, yes, because it was a good kid. But if it had been a kid that was questionable, I would have had to keep it real.
Please God no.
Right.
Don't let him be
need
an
this
FBI.
little devil being an FBI agent. No, ma'am, no, sir. So it could just keep you the way people perceive you at school. If you are a fighter, you'll get no opportunities. They won't want you to be in the band. They won't want you in the choir.
And I'm gonna tell you, like,
they won't want you on the drama. They won't even want you on the football field.
And I'm gonna tell you, and your records go back before you even go to school. Because I mean, if you have a kid that sees a doctor, or if they're in any services like ABA therapy, things like that, that all gets sent to the school. Because I've read many of them.
You know what else gets sent to the school? Things about parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't know that. They don't know that. Like if you're reading a case study, if sometimes these children were
when they interview the parents and there's all the parents' information in there.
And they talk about how they carried the child. Some parents smoked the whole pregnancy.
Yeah.
Some kids were born addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
And you only find that kind of stuff out by looking in that file.
No, everything's in there, and we read it. And so before your child even steps in the building, we have an idea of them in their head. And I'm not saying like we're biased, but I'm just saying we have a lot of information.
Right.
And
every student,
the main premise of us saying this is that every student has a paper trail.
Yep.
Whether you realize it or not.
They have to realize it. Even the report card is a paper trail.
Yeah.
And it has the citizenship marks right on it. It's a paper trail. And it does get dissolved. So after graduation, that file does pretty much get dissolved. So then you're just leaning on what you knew about that student.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. And that's what the FBI agent, he was talking to me about a former graduate. As a 12th grade counselor, we purge those files. And we keep them for 99 years is the law in a fireproof area. So the only thing that winds up in there is the birth certificate, the immunization record, and the whole official transcript. And we keep that because those are records that people, or if they had an IEP, their last IEP. Those are the things people come back for. So we keep them. And it makes the file that was this thick,
Yeah.
And Parents, people don't know that either. By law, we have to keep that CA 60 for 99 years until that child is most likely dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I experienced that last year at the end of last school year when I had fifth graders transitioning to the middle school. So I had to literally send their files
Mm-hmm.
over to social workers at the middle
That's
school
right.
so that they can have them. And I even wrote summaries of each student. Like, okay, this student deals with this. They like this. They hate this.
Right.
You know, to deal with them, I do this. You know, it's like
Right.
we all know. We
Right.
all know about your kid, whether you think so or
Or
not.
not. Yeah.
We
And it's not
communicate.
about trying to judge them. It's about trying
No.
to get to know what the issue is.
Yeah, and the interventions that work. I
Absolutely.
have kids that are motivated by food, that are motivated by stickers, that they need this to calm down, they need that to calm down.
In high school, it turns into free time.
Yeah.
They're motivated by free time, and they're motivated by being able to go outside to the gym, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But overall, teaching your kids to strike back is really not the deal. If that's what you're teaching, I suggest you rethink that. I suggest you try to figure out a better way to teach your kid how to deal with conflict. There's always the school counselor that you can talk to, the school social worker. And sometimes kids just flat out need anger management. Mm-hmm. And if your child is under 10 and needs anger management, I suggest you go too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, they can also have an underlying undiagnosed situation going on too for temperament.
For temperament.
That can also be a thing, which is also very glossed over in the Black community, but your child might have some, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But then we need to figure it out so we can work on it, because again, even with the disability or not, they're gonna grow up,
right,
and they're gonna be adults, and they need to know,
and they don't have
how
IEPs
to conduct
in jail.
themselves. They don't. If they're out of jail, you can have it until you're 26, though.
Yeah, you can have it until you're 26 if you're out of jail.
If you're out of jail.
But once you go in, yeah,
mm-hmm.
I think the IEP is gonna go away.
So, I think we could end it there.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts?
Teach your kids to keep their hands to themselves. You try to keep your hands to yourself.
Yep. I have no lasting thoughts, but that is all we have for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for next week, the 19th, for our third episode of the Bullying Prevention Month series will be dropping, and we're going to be talking about the school to prison pipeline. Such fun things. Make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Urban Schoolhouse Podcast.
Urban Schoolhouse Podcast,
where school is cool.
Class dismissed.